Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is I, Eric, here with you at Carnage Reviews. Today I'll be looking at a film that means a lot to me, Clive Barker's Nightbreed. Written and directed by Clive Barker, Nightbreed stars Craig Sheffer, Ann Bobby, David Cronenberg, and Charles Hyde. Before we get into this awesome, epic film, just a reminder to please, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. It's the best way to keep up to date with everything going on at Carnage Reviews. Just tap that subscribe button and then hit the little bell notification to stay up to date with everything going on here at the channel. And if you enjoyed the video today too, please don't forget to tap it a like. Alright guys, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into the epicness that is Nightbreed.
It's just down the road at the edge of town. You know you shouldn't go there, especially after dark. Before you've seen a thing, they're all around you. Before you know what's happening.
Something's breeding there.
It's too late.
You can't go down there!
Clive Barker, creator of Hellraiser, brings you a reason to really be afraid of the dark. Nightbreed.
Aaron Boone is a troubled young man who keeps having reoccurring dreams of a place called Midian, where the monsters live. At the request of his girlfriend Lori, Boone reaches out to his psychiatrist, Dr. Decker, who tells Boone he believes he is responsible for the recent deaths of several families. In reality, Dr. Decker is the one doing the killings and is trying to frame Boone. Boone is shot and killed after going to Midian. He is soon resurrected, and he joins the Nightbreed to learn his true destiny. So that is the basic plot of Nightbreed in a nutshell. Now, for those of you wondering if I spoiled anything by saying that Dr. Decker is the one actually killing people and that he's trying to frame Boone, that's not the case because you learn this early on in the movie, so it's not really a spoiler. I'm a big fan of Clive Barker. I remember seeing Hellraiser 1 and 2 on the Sci-Fi Channel when I was either 12 or 13, and I was just blown away by those movies. I remember learning that Hellraiser was based off The Hellbound Heart, a novella also written by Clive Barker, and of course, I had to seek it out, and I read it, loved it. I read it multiple times. It's just an incredible story. The worlds that Clive Barker creates are always very incredible, filled with mythology and background. This is amazing. And of course, after that, I had to seek out his other work. I've read all his Books of Blood series, volumes, and yeah, I loved it. It's a shame that he stopped directing after Lord of Illusions, which is another great film that I'll have to review sometime. Nightbreed is based on another one of Clive Barker's books titled Cabal, and this film had a very troubled production. The studio didn't really understand the type of movie that he was making, and they marketed it as a slasher film, and it definitely is nowhere near that type of genre. And unfortunately, they made him do a lot of re-edits, and they made him take things out that were critical to the overall plot of the film and structure. And what we were left with was a film that, it still technically made sense, but it was still a little incoherent to where you didn't really understand what was going on. Now, we didn't get a true director's cut of Nightbreed until 2014. A lot of the footage was thought to be missing or lost altogether, but they managed to recover it, and it restored a lot of missing scenes that were critical to the plot. It also has a new ending than the original theatrical version had, which is closer in line with the book. Yeah, and there's a whole story behind this too, which I'm not going to get into in this video. There is information out there about how this all came to be, so definitely check that out if you're curious. I've seen both the director's cut and theatrical version of Nightbreed several times. I own the DVD that came out in 2004, I believe, that has the original theatrical cut, and of course I also own the Scream Factory release that contains the director's cut and the original cut. I managed to watch the theatrical cut at least one time before doing this review, and I watched the director's cut a few different times. I'm mainly going to be talking about the director's cut because I don't really feel there's a need to talk about the theatrical cut that much, because that's the main way to watch the movie now is the director's cut. So Nightbreed is a fun film. It has a lot of interesting characters. The monsters are cool. The world of Midian is interesting. Even the theatrical cut, it's still a very, I would say, consider it an enjoyable experience. But when you watch the theatrical cut, you could definitely see that there was more in the film that's not there. You know what I mean? There's definitely something else there that's missing. Overall, I think the director's cut of Nightbreed, it definitely does improve the film. It definitely flows a lot better. It makes more sense than it originally did. And overall, it's an enjoyable experience. There's also a lot of memorable lines in this movie, especially from Pelican. He delivers the famous line,
"Everything's true. God's an astronaut. Oz is over the rainbow. The Midian's where the monsters live."
And Dr. Decker, too, has some great lines in this film.
No, I'm deaf. Plain and simple. Say it! Then don't say it.
Speaking of Dr. Decker, David Cronenberg, who plays him in this film, does an amazing job. I mean, he just really, he is this character in the film. He makes this character. And it's so good that it really makes you want to see his own film. Like, I would love to see a Dr. Decker film. He just did a really good job with the character. Like, everything about him, the way he talks, the way he speaks, his movements, his mannerisms. He just owned that character. And it would be very interesting to have seen a film just about Dr. Decker. And with this being a movie about monsters, it definitely does not disappoint in that department. There's a lot of great, interesting looking creatures, and with the director's cut, we get to see a lot more of them. Now, I still wish, though, that we had more time with them, maybe learn about them a little bit more. We really don't learn that much more about them with the director's cut, unfortunately. And another thing, too, is I really wish we saw more Midian. Midian, like the set pieces for Midian were really cool looking, but I wish we spent more time in there. Now, I know towards the end of the film, you do see more of Midian, but it's being destroyed. Minor spoiler there. But I just kind of wish we spent time with them before the chaos occurred. I think that would have been very interesting to see that. Lylesburg, who was played by Doug Bradley, he's sort of like the lawmaker in Midian. He kind of enforces the rules, and he's the leader. For some reason, in the theatrical cut, his voice was dubbed by another actor. I don't know why they would do that, but in the director's cut, we do have Doug Bradley's voice in here, at least through some of the movie. For some weird reason, in parts of the film, it'll just revert back to the original dubbed voice. And then, kind of towards the end of the film, it's just all that dubbed voice for some reason. I'm assuming there's some reason for that. Maybe there wasn't the audio for certain scenes that maybe they didn't have it. But it doesn't really take you out of the movie when it switches back and forth like that. It is just something to note, though. Intolerance, hatred, and fear of a group of people you don't understand is definitely the main theme of Nightbreed. Now, it's no secret that Clive Barker is a gay man, and I think you can see that the Nightbreed represent the gay community, of how they have to hide who they are of fear of being judged. So the Nightbreed, they live in a separate world, basically, from the normal people. They live underground, underneath a cemetery, of fear of being judged or killed, possibly. And I think, I know in today's world we're a little bit more understanding, but there are still people out there that definitely they feel a certain way towards people that are different from them, unfortunately. The theme of intolerance is very broad. I feel like anybody can relate to what this film is trying to say, especially if you ever felt like you were an outcast, or if you ever felt different from other people and you feel like you had to hide who you really are. Without giving too much away, near the end of Nightbreed, these cops and these goobers, they invade Midian and they start destroying the area and killing off the Nightbreed. Basically, what I feel like Nightbreed's trying to say is that rather than try to understand or maybe come to some kind of agreement with a group of people that are different from us, we'd rather just destroy them and burn them to the ground. Now, the new ending that they put in this film is cool, and I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want to spoil the movie. But I have to be honest and say that I kind of like the theatrical cut ending better. I feel like maybe they could have combined them together and made it both, because I don't know. I just thought the ending in the theatrical cut was really cool. If you've seen this movie already, let me know, which ending do you prefer. You know, Nightbreed has a lot of good things going for it. It's got a cool story, good characters, very cool looking monsters, a great score by Danny Elfman, and also a very interesting villain too. This could have been like the Star Wars of horror films. It could have been up there as far as a epic horror series like Phantasm. It's really sad what could have been. While it's not perfect, Nightbreed has a lot of great things for a horror fan to sink their teeth into. And while the director's cut wasn't as epic as I hoped, it definitely is a satisfying film experience. I would give it 4.5 skulls. Thanks for checking out today's video, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of Nightbreed. Did you like the director's cut or theatrical cut better? What are some of your favorite Clive Barker films or books? If you haven't done so already, please subscribe to the channel and tap that like button. Have a good day, guys.